Commission to order. I thank you all for being here. If you would stand with me and we'll have the invocation. Father God, I just thank you for the opportunity to walk in your world and to take dominion over the things that you granted us. And so, Father, we together say you're the great I am, the one and only true God, the one who made it all, the one who holds it all. And so today, Father, we just want to honor you with our decisions. We want to be fair. We want to be true. We want to be right. And to the extent that we can do that in our humanity, I pray your help on that. I pray your Spirit to pour out on us so that we would do that in a way that would honor you. So, Father, I thank you for all those who are here today. I pray for their safe travels home. And bless us now as we enter these deliberations. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor
the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Do we have anyone signed up for public comment today? No? Okay. Thank you. The City Commission will now hold a public hearing concerning an application from Vic Helton to rezone Block 5, Winalea Addition to the City of Pampa, Texas, from Single Family 2 to Single Family 3, mobile home permitted. So I'd like to call on Luke Raber to give us a description of that change.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for having me this morning. I'd like to present to you before you a request by Mr. and Mrs. Helton to rezone a portion of the 600 block of North Nelson. There's actually 3 properties that Mr. Helton would like to rezone there. Currently, right now, it's listed as a single family 2. Across the alley to the west is a single family 3 mobile home permitted. Currently, Mr. Helton resides in a mobile home in Dangerfield, Texas, and he would like to move back to Pampa. He grew up around here, did some time here, would like to move here. He'd like to bring that mobile home with him. We have some more details on that here in a little bit, but that's kind of the basis of where this started. So on June 23rd, Mr. Helton submitted an application to the City of Pampa. That comes with just a brief piece of paper that submit his request to us for a rezone change on what he would like to rezone it to. Mr. Helton paid the fee. The check was received on July 1st for that rezoning application. And then letters were sent out to the surrounding neighborhood. You have to send out within 200 feet of the area that's being rezoned. So over 20, I think it's 22 letters were sent out to the surrounding neighborhoods. Only 4 were received back with any kind of feedback on that. On that letter, he just requested whether you approve or disapprove of whatever it is being rezoned for. 4 were feedback, 3 were for, and 1 was against. One against had concerns of property values in that area. The other 3 were pretty adamantly approval of it, had no questions or anything like that. On the 21st of July, the Planning and Zoning Commissions met and we deliberated for a time on this. We don't take rezoning lightly. It's a big change. It draws a whole bunch of new lines and stuff and allows different permits. So there was some pretty good discussion back and forth. The concerns of property values were brought up. The concerns of a mobile home in a stationary home area was brought up. After reviewing that and talking with Mr. Helton and seeing some pictures, and I have those pictures if you would like to see them, of his home in Dangerfield, the Planning and Zoning Commission discussed it and approved the rezone to accommodate his mobile home. It was believed that Mr. Helton keeps a very nice place. He doesn't, and I'll let y'all just have these, you can pass them around. There's 3 different photos there for Mr. Helton. He keeps a pretty clean property. There's no junk around the property. The grass is well cut and trimmed. The trees are trimmed. He does have a lot more trees than he'll get here, unfortunately. That's up to him whether he wants to leave a lot of trees from South Texas. But he keeps a nice place. The front porch that you see on that and the back porch as well, Mr. Helton would like to bring up with him, reassemble here very carefully so they don't have access to the front. On the property as well, Mr. Hilton plans to put up a small shed to store tools and materials and stuff in, and keep things clean and out of the sun, things like that. So after deliberation amongst the Planning and Zoning Committee, they approved it with unanimous vote amongst all the commissioners of the committee, and therefore we come before you today with that same information. Any questions?
Does Mr. Hilton currently own all 3 of those lots? Okay.
I would like to say that I did put out a alert on Facebook just to kind of get some other people always fail when it comes to mail. I know I do. So just to see if there was any feedback. I did talk to 9 or 10 folks, and as of right now, the people that were over there, their main concerns were property values, and major concern was to see if this opened up an option for an RV park, which does not, correct?
No, that is a different.
Yeah, okay.
That would be different.
So that's the other concern, so that gives you 13 to 14 feedbacks out of 20.
Yeah, and when it comes to mobile home, that's a very good question. This is a mobile fixed home, not an RV. So an RV is not considered a fixed trailer. It's
Right.
portable, so this would be a fixed.
And even if another neighbor wanted to do the same thing, they would have to go through the entire process, just like Mr. Hilton did.
Okay.
And I believe one thing that got passed around is a more blown up view of the area. One of the questions that got brought up are we, busting up and changing lines, and this area is not confuse things more, but there's a lot of that, and there's actually some spot stuff that was done years and eons past of some mobile homes in the area. So it's kind of misshapen, and not to muddle the water there, but this is not uncommon, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
So Luke, when you say rezone block 5, is that, how many lots is that?
No, so it should be 3 lots
Okay.
of block 5.
3, 4, and 5.
Lots 3,
Okay.
4, and 5 of block 5. A block is just
Okay.
considering that section of, you kind of have to go by
Okay.
the surveying term of this section, this block, kind of the lot of numbers of that
Okay.
block.
Any other comments, questions?
Thank you.
Okay, I'd entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll make my
Motion to close the public hearing.
I will second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oh, same sign. Hearing is closed. Okay, next we're going to have a presentation and demonstration by the representatives of Pace-O-Matic regarding their games. And gentlemen, if I could get your names.
My name is Andrew Camplin,
Okay,
DJ Scott,
DJ,
and I'm Matt Powell,
okay,
and I'm Harry White.
okay. Thanks for being here. So I'll just turn it over to you.
Demonstration before? Yeah, let's do that first. Okay, so additionally, with my name, I'm a retired San Antonio police detective, 25 years there, and I'm the chief compliance officer for Lone Star Skill by Pace-O-Matic in Texas. We have a dedicated compliance team that goes around and makes sure the games are operating like they're supposed to be operating, that they follow the ordinances, they have the stickers, the taxes, the licenses, anything is paid for in any area that we go into. And then we also vet the locations to make sure they're not going into a nuisance establishment, or they're not taken away from a neighborhood or community. The games were designed to provide supplemental, sustainable income to small businesses. It's also grown into fraternals and also into nationwide chain stores. This is a game of skill. Did they get the ruling prior? So it went up through the Texas Sixth Court of Appeals, and the Texas Sixth Court of Appeals affirmed that this is not a gambling device in Texas, it's a game of skill. Player can win every single time they play. All of our games are badged Lone Star Skill by Pace-O-Matic on the side. They have the same exact stickers on there. If it's any other game of skill in Texas, it's not a legal game of skill, it hasn't been adjudicated. And, I could go into a whole bunch of different topics on those illegal games and what makes them illegal. This has accounting software inside of it that counts for every dollar going in and every dollar going out. There's a company policy that nobody under 18 years of age can play the game. That's a company policy, that's not a state law or anything. The thing that you see on one of our games is this home screen, and it'll show you multiple different games, themed games that you can play. They're all the same software, just different view, just different icons. I like to demonstrate, let's say, the Pirates game. So the player, before they even put any money in it, will select a particularly themed icon that they want to play. You're going to get a tic-tac-toe puzzle. Instead of this being tic-tac-toe, X's and O's, there are icons over here that are valued at different points. The player hasn't put any money in, they can view the next puzzle on every single game and every single level before they play the game. And the player is looking for an opportunity to make a selection for 3 in a row. So if you look here, is there an opportunity for 3 in a row to make a selection for that? No. We can go to one of the different levels on the game and see if there's an opportunity there. So you gotta use strategy and skill and pattern recognition skills and eye dexterity to be able to identify within the time limit where you can make a selection after you put money in and push play for 3 in a row. If you're not able to find that, there's a second portion of the game called the Follow Me section. That is a series of 9 dots. They come up on the screen one at a time. You follow the pattern up to level 20, and that will guarantee you a win of 105% of what you play. When I talk about putting money in or playing, this game is not in demo mode. I'm going to put it in demo mode. It's a demo mode, so I can force it to do things that you might want to see without it actually playing and spending time and hours playing the game. I'm going to set up. Player put money in, we push the play button. I set it up for 2 pistols in a row. Here's an opportunity to make a selection with a time limit for 3 pistols. Make this selection for a wild card for 3 pistols, and then you've won 400 points. We're on play level 200. That's a deficit of 200 points. So we'd be able to push this button. I didn't do it quick enough to go to the follow me portion, which I'll show you. Opportunity to make a selection within a time limit of 3 skulls. Make the selection. The skulls on this particular level are 40 points. We're on play level 200. That's not 105% of what you played. So you can push this and go to the follow me portion of the game. The second portion. 9 symbols will be displayed. To answer correctly, you touch this 9 symbols in the right pattern up to level 20. And then you win 170 points. It's 1 cent a point. That's $1.70 to go through 7 minutes of following these dots. Anybody want to see that? 7 minutes of that?
Yeah, I mean, this is your demonstration, so.
So I would write that down as being 8. That's 8-3. Parker over here, I'm writing this down, so I never will make it 8-3-3. See, I wasn't paying attention. I didn't get that. What I didn't talk about before you play the game, before a player plays the game, they can go to the help screen before they even put any money in there, and it tells them exactly how to play the game. detailed instructions on every single one. This is how you win. The machine never determines the outcome of the game. The player's skill and attention determines the outcome of the game. The game is fun to play. All the different games on there are fun to play. And they're meant to bring better income to small businesses so they can hire an additional employee, so they can clean up the place. When I talk about vetting locations, every compliance officer on our team is a retired Texas peace officer. We've all been in law enforcement careers for a lengthy amount of time. DJ retired from the Fort Worth Police Department after 30 years. Another San Antonio police officer, and McAllen police officer, and we're going to be adding 3 more compliance officers in the next 6 months. So we know how to conduct investigations, and we know how to see a location that might be a problem and then not allow games to go in there, or to determine that a location is being a problem by working with local law enforcement and officials and having the games removed, because we don't want our games in an establishment that is bad for the community. And we take a lot of pride in that. And we take a lot of pride in our operators as well as our locations. If our operators aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing, the people who contract with locations, then we've terminated operators as well, because they're not following the rule or the law of the company policy that Pace-O-Matic has worked so hard to maintain in every market that we're in. These are not 8-liners or slot machines or illegal games. They're legal games made, manufactured, maintained by a legitimate company that cares about communities and places that we go.
Real quick, you talk about providing income to small businesses. Can you give us a breakdown? Because I assume you guys don't put these in gas stations or wherever and not make money off of them. So can you run us through a breakdown? How much does the small business get, and how much do you guys take home with you?
A lot of it depends on foot traffic in a location. Some locations make a whole lot more than other locations per terminal because the amount of people that are there and playing the game. There is a 3-way contract split on the net profits on the games. 35% stays at the location, whatever that location is. 35% goes to the operator who installs the games and maintains the games. Locations don't have access to the inside of the game. They don't have access to the accounting. They can't change anything inside the game. They can't even get inside the game. The operators do all of that. They have specific training on how to make the machine work. It's like a Coca-Cola machine. They need a location, the keys to the Coca-Cola machine for, operating, the people, the operators take care of that. So it's 35 to the location, 35 to the operator, who does all the work, who goes out and gets the location and has a location agreement signed by them, and that's for 5 years.
Is that you guys?
The operator, no.
Who's the operator?
The operator would be somebody that's gone through a training program and been vetted to be familiar with coin-op routes and doing collections and things like that.
Is that something you guys vet?
We
Do
vet
they go
all
through
of
your
our
system?
operators.
Okay.
Yeah, the compliance team vets all of the operators along with the state distributor for our games, the warehouses. So I do a one-on-one interview with every person who wants to be an operator in this state.
Are they independent or do they fall under your company?
They have to have a license in Texas, they have a business, and they have to be familiar with running a route like this. Let's say they've got pool tables, video games, shuffleboard games in different places. Or maybe they're a retired fireman or retired policeman, or we got some of all sorts of different types of people.
But are they still are they connected to your company, I guess is a better
They are
question.
independent from us.
Okay.
Pace-O-Matic, the company, doesn't operate. We get 30% of the net profit off of the games.
Okay.
And that's to make the games, to provide a compliance team, to provide a legal team, and, just to operate as a company and have employees. And we're headquartered in Duluth, Georgia.
Could you explain how the money in, money out works? How much money does it take to play the game, and how do you get the?
So on each game, there's a lowest level, and you can level all the way down. This particular game is 50 points to push the play button. That's 50 cents. The highest level of this particular game is 400 points to push the play button. That's $4. But if a person comes up and goes, you know, I'm going to play 400 and I'm just going to push the play button and not use any skill or investigative technique, you know, then they're going to lose more than likely. But if they watch the video and they view the next puzzle and they watch all the things on the help screen, you can strategically go through this game and win easily every single time. And that's part of the skill, is learning the strategy of the game. Do we have games that are upside down? Not technically. A location or an operator is never going to lose money. The game just won't be up for that particular location. And other people will come in and play and not have the same skill. When I say a game is up, I mean there's YouTube videos that show exactly how to play this game and win. There's groups of people that travel around and play these games on vacation, and they fund their vacation as they travel all over Texas or anywhere else.
So it pays out money,
It does.
and that's not considered gambling?
It is not considered gambling.
So if you put $4 in it, does it progressively go down as you play each game? That figure until you're out of money, or how does that?
Yeah, the points, every time you push the button, you'll lose whatever level you're on, 400 points off of what I've got here, which in demo mode, it goes up to 50,000. 50,000 points.
And so whenever you,
$500.
so when you win, you match, do whatever the game of skill does. It doesn't go to some sort of prize game or anything like that where it spins, gets you all the points and all the extras and all the hits and all the things.
You don't get additional things. This is a game you play with cash.
Uh-huh.
And you can win cash by increasing your points value with your skill.
Well, I understand that, but I was asking like after, like once you pass the skill game, you win that, does it go to another game? Like inside of the same game, does it go to what? Not necessarily an 8-liner, but some sort of reward to where it shows that you're gonna get extra points, you're gonna get extra coins, however you wanna go about it. And then it goes back to the skill game, and then it goes back to the reward game. It doesn't do that?
No,
Okay.
this is the tic-tac-toe puzzle here.
Mhm.
The other section, the follow me, those are the two skill game. There's no other secondary games in here.
Okay.
So a lot of times we think cash in and cash out, that's gambling. I thought that for years. Now it's because of 8-liners, but they're in the definition of bet, the Texas Penal Code, that specifically allows for prize award compensation to the actual contestant of bona fide game of skill. The bet is an agreement to win or lose something of value solely or partially by chance. This is 100% skill. But that does not include prize award or compensation to the actual contestant in a bona fide game of skill. That's verbatim out of the statute.
So to answer your question, is there something like, you know, where a wheel spins, okay? In some of these games, they have something called a bonus round that you can win. And if you look up there, there is an option on this game. There's 3 different ways to hit the bonus. The amount you win has already been determined prior to you ever seeing the puzzle. So it's an amusing way to award the prize. No matter what you do on the bonus games, you're going to get it. You know, whether you hit, whether you sit there, eventually it'll pay it. So there's multiple elements of skill in the game. The first one, like Andrew talked about, is you can decide whether you're going to play the game or not. You can look at it, you can look at each puzzle before you put a penny in. You can say, I like this game, I see how I can win. Or you can say, I don't like any of these games, and you can walk away. That's before putting $1 in. So that's the first element of skill, which is being able to read the puzzle. The second element of skill is actually being able to play the puzzle, being able to successfully complete it. And you know, if you talk about eventually a monkey can type Shakespeare, but a monkey's going to lose a lot of money on this game playing randomly. The skilled player, using patience, attention, is going to win every time there's a winning puzzle. Sometimes those winning puzzles will yield a bonus round. And you're going to win the bonus round or not, depending on whether the bonus shows up. But the amount of that bonus round has already been determined. And then the final element is why you win every time, which is the follow me. On every single play of the game, if you played optimally, you will have the chance to win 105% of what you paid to play the game. So if you had a puzzle that showed bonus, that had, in this case, like 3 or 2 gold doubloons, and you need to hit the third one, and you choose not to hit the third one, either through neglect or decision, you don't get the follow me round because you didn't play optimally. So you have to play as well as you can. So if you had a $4, you paid $4 to play the game, if you don't win $4.20 on that play of the game, you win $4, you win $2, then you have the opportunity to play follow me to make up that difference. So depending how the initial puzzle goes, the follow me award will be greater or lesser. If you paid $4 and you won 0 and you played it as well as you could, it was a losing puzzle, you could win $4.20. If you played it as well as you could and you won $2, follow me is worth $2.20. And this isn't just me, I'm a lawyer saying it, or Andrew, he's demonstrated this game hundreds, maybe thousands of times. He's, experienced it, worked it. We have an expert, Olaf Ankura, who's a mathematician, engineer, who has examined the game and actually testified to how the mechanics behind the game function, and how you can win every time, and how it is, not a game of chance. If it's a game that you can win every time, it's a game of skill. So, and Mr. Vancura actually testified at the hearing we had. It was a forfeiture hearing in Fannin County, Texas, where Fannin County law enforcement had seized 30 machines, something like that. And we had a full day hearing and were able to explain to the judge, it was contested, it wasn't agreed. The government fought us on it. We were able to explain to the judge how the machines operated legally. We did that through our own testimony, which was Mr. Vancura and Andrew, but also law enforcement came and testified that, a couple of the highlights were, yes, I'm a better player at this game now. If you gave it to me now, I would play better, which is an element of a game of skill. And they admitted that they didn't understand the game when they got the warrants. There's more to it as well, and we have that's laid out in the legal opinion. And the judge, East Texas, she found in our favor and found that it was not a gambling device. It did not violate the penal code, because the central element to why this game is legal is it's not a game of chance. It's a game of skill. If you can win every time, you have eliminated chance. You've eliminated chance, and that is that's why it's legal. And I've got a lot of experience doing this. For 20 years, I've handled gambling cases. When I started at a law school, I was a prosecutor in Athens, in East Texas, and we prosecuted 8-liners. And with an 8-liner, the owner of the game can open the machine up. Unlike here, the operator can't do that. The person at the location can't do it. The 8-liner operator can change the payouts. You can't do that here. The game is what the game is. So that's why the game complies with the penal code, and that's why we won that forfeiture here, and the appellate here, in the appellate case as well. So that's a long way of saying, did I answer your question?
I understand it a lot better now. You're talking about the bonus round that goes in there, but as he explained it, the game does certain things for entertainment value. If you push next puzzle, that's the next puzzle that you're going to get when you push the play button. This is it. You can take a picture of it. That's what's coming up next. But if I push this play button, it's going to look like there's real spinning. See that? That's for entertainment. That's to make it so it's not boring, black and white, X's and O's. That's to make it look cool to the player and they feel entertained. Just like the bonus round part, if you get an opportunity to make the selection for 3 bonus rounds and you make that selection and you've got 3 bonus round icons there, it's going to send you to the bonus round, but it's determined how much you get for that bonus round the moment you make the selection and win the tic-tac-toe puzzle. It doesn't matter what you do during the bonus round, whether it's shooting enemy incoming military targets or whether it's designing a car and spinning this thing and getting a new set of wheels for your car. All that's been predetermined before, and there is no element of partial chance or chance in that.
You mentioned time, a time value or something. You have so much time to make your selection. What does that look like? What's the
Looks
time?
differently depending on the value of the icon. You have to use more skill for a higher valued icon than you do for a low valued icon.
Does that speed up as you progress?
No, it doesn't. It's the same. If the opportunity is for a high valued icon to do 3 in a row, then it's going to be, it could be 8 to 10 seconds. If it's on one of the very low valued ones, let's say 80 points or 240 points, then you may get 20, 25 seconds.
Is there a maximum payout?
Maximum payout.
So you said that folks are funding their vacations around Texas, so they're obviously not winning $4 in that day's time.
No, there's a certain icon up here that's up to $2,000 if it is at level 400. And when I say that, Dr. Olaf Vancura is a PhD astrophysicist, and he wrote a program to play this game. And his program played the game 2 million times and won every single time. And then he discovered that a player that plays it a certain way with a certain kind of skill will win about $20 an hour when they play them. So we're not talking a whole bunch of money that's going to fund criminal activity or make a location in your city be a nuisance establishment. We're talking about somebody that stopped in to get a 6-pack while they go wait to go pick up their child and throw a couple of dollars in there and play the game. Or somebody that's getting lottery tickets. A lot of times you see them in convenience stores next to the lottery ticket station.
At
Nobody's
one
getting
time,
rich off these games.
at one time, I thought I understood that you guys limited the number of games you would put in any establishment. Is that still true?
It is still true, with the exception that in some of the truck stops, the big truck stops, they allow more than 5 games.
Okay, but you don't have an internal policy on your end that limits how many games you put in an establishment?
Yes, we do.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, with the truck stops, the truck stops, because the truckers are down for a certain number of hours, they have allowed more than 5 games to go in there. But across the board, it's 5 games or less. We don't usually ever put 5 games in a location in the beginning. They need to establish that the games are going to be worth it in that location. And how bad would it look if it was a small convenience store, tiny square footage, and you walk in and the first thing you see is 5 games? When I talk about the contract, we have a contract. Once an operator has a contract with a location, and that location is in that contract for 5 years. That means they can't say, no, I don't want these games, I want those illegal 8-liners back. I want those back in here because I don't like all this accounting stuff. I don't want all these other things. I want all the money, not 25%. They're not able to put those games back in there for 5 years.
You mentioned you guys would make a decision if it's a place you don't think it's appropriate or not good for the people in that area, that you would put games in that
That's right.
spot. That's my understanding that you have a plan or effort to put games in the VFW here, and it has a pretty bad history with that. And I know it wasn't the same game, but just that area of town, that kind of thing going on. Would that not keep you from using that location? And police chief can give some color to that if you want to.
Just, I think Mr. Tamplin and myself have talked about this, about the number of calls that we had to answer at that location. And granted, they were the different games, and there was a lot of activity going on there. That really had nothing to do with the company that made the games or whatever. It was how it was being ran that was not in accordance with the statutes that they talked about. So that draws a type of individual that would be willing to go out and commit other nefarious crimes in order to be able to come there and make cash money. And that's what was going on there a lot. Amongst other, there was 164 calls for service we answered at that place in the previous 18 months before we shut that down. And then the post 6 months afterwards, we answered 2 calls in that block, and they were both traffic stops. So that kind of gave you an idea of what we were dealing with the location.
Mayor, can I address that for you real quick?
Please.
Again, my name's Matt Powell. Thanks for the opportunity to talk to you guys today. I'll give you my background real briefly. I was a prosecutor for almost 30 years. Most of that was the elected DA in Lubbock. And I always tell everybody, they kind of dragged me kicking and screaming on this deal. Because they came to me and, you know, I hate eight-liners like they're my stepchild, because of all these things that you talk about, Chief. We would, because of all the problems that we always had at eight-liner problems. So when they came, and Andrew was the first guy that came and demonstrated this to me with a bunch of other folks, and they said, and I was kind of convinced it wasn't a game of chance, which is the gambling definition. It was a game of skill, but they left this machine, and we tried to sit there like the ladies do in Las Vegas doing this, and never won. Okay, you always had to have some skill. I wasn't very good at it, and I'm part Aggie, so maybe I can't play tic-tac-toe like everybody else, but we never, and we had some guys examine that I trust, and nobody could ever say, just nobody ever won by chance. And to address your question specifically, Mayor, I'm telling you, when they talk about these guys being compliance, they are compliance. We have not had any of the issues that the chief brought up right here that you're talking about. Because number one, they vet them like crazy. And number two, if there's an inkling of any problems, they shut them down. You don't have to shut them down. These guys are gonna shut them down. And so that's the reason that you don't. I remember walking in, we had the opportunity to come and see you guys before, and we walked in that VFW, and that's like any other eight-liner place I've ever been in. Dark, shabby, they had that hall, they had probably 50 machines down it. That's not gonna happen with these guys. They're gonna vet them, and again, if the chief calls and says, we're having the same issues coming up, but I don't think you're going to, because they're not gonna pay out money like they do in eight-liner places. Eight-liners will pop up, they're still popping up in Lubbock, because those guys are making $30,000, $40,000 a month, and the cost of doing business, they shut them down, we forfeit all the machines and the cash for that month, and in a couple of months, they open up a new place. Because that's the kind of money that you're talking about going through those places, because those operators can control those machines. They can go in there and they mess with them and everything else, they decide who's gonna get a payout, and who's not gonna get a payout. That absolutely cannot happen with these machines. And I promise you, if I thought, the Baptist deacon in me, if I thought this was illegal gambling, then I wouldn't be here. If that means anything to you or not, I don't know. But
Well, let me ask you,
that.
that's a good point.
Yeah,
So,
I promise you it wouldn't.
No.
I wouldn't be here.
but given that, how do you see that this benefits families and society in general?
I think what you're doing is it's putting money into the communities. It's not, you're not having the same type of people that are playing the eight-liner machines versus, versus the people who are doing this. There's a tax basis, there's a benefit to the communities that are putting these in. We've seen it, I've seen it. And we're not, I don't think you're having I have not seen, not one time, in all the places in the state of Texas, and I can't remember, Harry, how many counties are we in the state of Texas? Do you remember, Andrew?
264.
64?
264.
264. Well, now, we don't have that.
60 counties?
How many counties? Yeah.
264 counties in Texas.
No, how many are we in? No, how many counties are we in?
I can't hear.
You want to borrow mine?
Yeah, just one.
Let you borrow mine.
How many counties are we in? 160, 180.
And that includes a lot of these big cities and stuff like that we're talking about. We have not seen any problems in any of those establishments as far as the type of stuff that we were talking about that the chief brought up. So again, if I thought that was the case, I wouldn't be here.
Do you know how many counties are in the Panhandle, in the top 26?
In Potter, which, you know, Scott Rumley, some of you guys may know Scott. Scott's the county attorney up there, and Scott is the gambling guru in the state of Texas, in my opinion. And so one of the first people that these guys went to, and we followed up with it. You know, Scott, I mean, obviously he's not gonna write a deal and says everything's great, you know, and everything else, but the machines are in Potter County, if that tells you anything. As far as other counties up here in the Panhandle, I'm not sure. You know, up here, how many we got up here?
Just asking DJ. I'm not sure exactly on the number, but a lot of the counties we haven't gone into yet because they're very sparsely populated.
What's your definition of sparsely populated?
A whole lot less than any other major city.
So
A lot less than you, a lot less than me. I mean, obviously you're gonna need some traffic that's gonna come through there. You're going to be advised to see who can come in there. So,
We were just at the Sheriff's Association of Texas Convention. We sponsor every law enforcement convention in Texas yearly. It's 6 of them that we go to. And I remember a sheriff in the county in the Panhandle said, "You want to see what a legal game skill looks like in Texas?" He goes, "You know, man, neither me or the cattle in my county care about those games. We only have one convenience store." And so that's what I'm talking about. That's why we're not up there. We wouldn't have an operator that could go up there that far away from his route to make it justified at this point. So one convenience store in an entire county, not really a good market for us.
Any reason you're not in Randall County compared to Potter County?
district attorney doesn't want, he doesn't, and we're not gonna go into a county where we're not welcome. And so he doesn't want the games to go into Randall County, didn't want to go in there, and so we're obviously not gonna push that.
And on the, you said on the follow me portion, that goes on, you made it about 45 seconds, that goes 7 minutes for you to win?
Yeah,
Is
we
that-
should go all the way up to level 20. And I play fast, and that's why I made the mistake that I did. I didn't take my time. Normally, I have a piece of paper and a pen, and I write down each one, and I can go through every single time and win every time.
But it
And
goes,
that takes 6 to 7 minutes
to play a single round of that?
to go through the 20 levels of following. It takes about 6 to 7 minutes if you're taking your time. You can go as fast as you want, or you can take as long as you want. There's no time limit on following. It's all about the skill.
So you're obviously in it to make money. That's why you're here and you got the games. But if people can get skilled at it, and they're making, what'd you say, 20%? You can't pay out 35% to everybody. How does that?
So, the company
Yeah.
definitely is in it to make money, just like any business. I'm not. Be clear about that. I'm a compliance officer. I make, a regular wage. There's no regular salary. Nobody with Pace-O-Matic profits off the games based on how the game wins or how the game performs. The locations and the operators do. And so we, as the manufacturer of the game, have certain costs that I mentioned before, and that's why we get to 30%. And then operators get 35% to take care of the games and maintain the games, go out and seek contracts and seek locations and service those locations, keep the games clean. Every game has a serial number down here. We go out and do not just vetting on locations, but we do covert audits. We travel all over the state, the entire compliance team, and we'll sneak around and visit locations and make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. Or following up on complaints or just doing random audits. And so we write a compliance report and we say a location's doing this, they've got the wrong games in there, there's competitive games next to them. There can't be any illegal games or any competitive games in a location where we have a location agreement signed. So that's it for illegal games in those locations. And if they decide behind the operator's back, but they want to put some behind the cooler in a broom closet. They want to put some 8-liners back there too, just to, supplement their income or draw in a whole lot more money. Then we find that out, and we have a civil law team that will go after them and sue them for breach of contract.
On the payout, you win, does it just shoot money out? Or I see that, take that ticket. You just grab your ticket, take it to the cashier?
We usually put a ticket redemption terminal next to it. It's kind of like an ATM machine.
Okay.
And when you're done playing, you can go outside. This one has a ticket button. Some of them have a redeem tab up there. You can push the tab, and it'll give you the balance of your points. You take that over to the ticket redemption machine. You scan your driver's license for age verification, and then it'll give you the money that is on your ticket that you won.
And the limit is 5%? Is that right, or what's the limit on winnings? If you put in $4, 20 cents is all you can win on?
No, that would be, that's a, if you play it all the way through, that's 105%. No, on this game, you could put in $4, and how much would you win? 2,000?
For the top line, if you've got 3, that's a female pirate. If you have an opportunity selection for 3 female pirates in a row on play level 400, that would be $2,000.
So yes, you could win $2,000. I don't want you thinking it's just 5% of what you could play. The minimum win, if you play it if you play the game, even a total loser game, you play it successfully, is 105% of what you paid to play the game, which on a $4 play would be 20 cents. But states right there, you could win $2,000. One thing I want to really emphasize, which I think is one of the big concerns that you've got, and is honestly a concern for most governmental entities, is there's the perception, I think correct, that the 8-liner parlors are magnets for crime. And I think there's a perception here, and it may be not a perception but accurate, was that the VFW hall was a magnet for crime. Mm-hmm. Various types of crime. So the one thing you don't find in an 8-liner parlor is the former law enforcement vetting the owners, making sure the places are being run in compliance with our rules, which include not only not tampering with machines, not cheating the machines, but making sure that they're in locations that are not going to be magnets for crime. Andrew didn't mention it, but he's told me that he had an instance where somebody wanted to put games in a location in Dallas where they thought that this was not a safe place, this was not going to be a good place for our games, and it may attract the wrong element. So the thing I would emphasize, and Matt's talked about this, is as far as the magnet for crime, we have open conversations with the police officers in the area, whether that's sheriff's office, police department. We welcome, if there's issues, the police department, law enforcement contacting our team, putting us on notice that there's problems. That's something we would address, and if it was something that it was not, good for our company, we're a big company, that's something we would address. But yes, can you, to answer your question, can you put money in and win money? Yes, absolutely. But it's done by skill, not by chance. Does the money stay? What is the benefit to the community? Well, the benefit to the community is that if you have a gas station that has 2, 3, 5 machines, one, the money is staying at the gas station. Some of that money is, and that gas station is able to hire an extra employee, and the people who are maintaining the machines, the operators. Well, those aren't people from the other end of the world. I mean, the machines here would be operated out of Amarillo. So it's not directly, in Pampa, but it is, in the Panhandle region. So we believe it does help the community, and that it keeps it local. It's small. we, you know, have essentially retired law enforcement, not essentially, but actually retired law enforcement who are enforcing our rules, which makes us distinct from any other entity I'm aware of that sells anything. I mean, nothing's comparable to this because this is actually a legal game, but anyone purporting to sell something is, so.
So based off what this gentleman said, I mean, if a place does not want it, y'all respect that? Correct?
We have.
That's,
Through
we
the-
have, but we're not.
Yeah, through what means.
Just- I mean,
Explain
just-
that.
well, So what I would tell you, I mean, have you ever had an A-liner come before the city council and ask for permission to come in your community?
I don't know, I just started in May.
Anybody else?
No. Good
I mean,
answer.
anybody else? I mean, never. It's just never. Because they just pop in and whoever mom and pop and buy whatever machines they want from China or wherever they can get them, okay? Wherever they're gonna do it, whatever they're gonna run it, and stuff like that. We have respected, when they don't want us to come in, we've respected that decision. I mean, that's the reason we're here.
Yeah.
I mean, the easy thing to do is just, let's start. And one of our operators is Greg Mitchell, who owns Student Totems, okay? He has a lot of it in his stores. He has Student Totems here. He wants to put them in. We've said no. Okay, let us have these discussions and then decide whether we want to do it. And so the easy thing for us to do is, because we think now, when we have case law that shows they're not illegal gambling devices. So if somebody litigates us, somebody forfeits the machines, the easy thing for us to do, okay, well, let's go have a hearing. Let's go have we're going to have a lawsuit. We're going to try to get those forfeited assets back. And we think we have the law on our side. And so, I mean, that's what we can do, but yet, I mean, we could, so let's just put them in the Student Totem, and if y'all come and forfeit them, well, guess what we're going to do? We're going to go to court. But instead, we come up here and try to do this presentation and answer any questions that you have to respect your community in order to do that. And so, I hope that answers your question. We're trying to certainly be respectful of your community. I grew up in this part of the world, so, I mean, I know these, you know, this is home to me. And so, we want to respect, and we do this in every community we meet. We meet with law enforcement, we meet with the city attorneys, we meet with the county attorneys, we meet with the district attorneys, we meet with the county commissioners and the city council, obviously. And so, we're trying to do that because we're trying to be respectful and try to convince you guys that it's a very legitimate, this factory they have in Georgia is unbelievable. I've never seen an A-liner factory. I don't know where they are. I've never seen anybody that, you know, I've never seen a regular person that runs a business. Just be honest with you. I haven't. And that's a long time. You can Google me how much I love them. So, but this is different. And that's, again, I hope that answers your question. If we think something's improper going on, you're not gonna have to shut it down because our guys are gonna do it for you.
But if you respect the local authorities' decision, like you are in Randall County, if the city says we don't want your machines in our city, you'll respect that?
That's not my decision to make.
But that's what
I'll
you
tell
said.
He has in the past. Well, it's the owner of Pacer-Mac. Is who would make that ultimate decision. We'll tell them what we'll have a debriefing and tell how this meeting went and talk about it, everything else. And if y'all say you have concerns, you don't want them, we're gonna voice those concerns and those wishes to the boss. And then he'll make the ultimate decision whether or not to let the folks come into the community.
How many
But
current,
we have respected it in the past, is what I would tell you. I mean, I think proof's in the pudding. When somebody says no,
I respect that
Yeah.
of the company, if that is a continued.
how many machines do you currently have in Pampa?
I don't believe there's any on right now.
Not on, just setting, ready to go.
By my best memory, I don't believe there's any machines currently on in Pampa. I know there were some. I think when all this started, or this stream started, or whatever you want to call it, I believe they turned them off.
But they're still here. Just Oh, okay.
They're either off and out or something.
Yeah.
Two and two, but they're not on.
I mean, if I'm giving my honest opinion, I think that, a mathematician can sit there and play that game and can win it, and it's a game of skill. You take me and put me in front of that game, it's a game of chance. I'm not saying the court decided one way or the other, right, wrong, or indifferent. I know that I'm a very competitive person. I know several people in this town are very competitive people, and we will sit there and we will do it until we win. And I do think that that is a gambling thing. So to me, I think you can have terminology that separates the two, but the moral of the story is, at the end of the day, it's a gambling game. My opinion. I could be wrong.
Well, the winnings are unlimited. Isn't that what you're telling me? It's not just limited to 5%?
It's limited to what you can win on a particular game. Yeah, so
Based on what,
it's not unlimited.
based on what you put in, right? It's based on what you put in, you can get a certain
Yeah,
payout.
theoretically, I suppose you could win every time.
Millions.
$2,000.
That's what I'm saying. There was no limit if it's a game of skill and you're good enough, right?
And that's one of the reasons why, and Commissioner Horst, if you're competitive enough at the game, you get better at the game, which demonstrates it's a game of skill.
Yeah. When you ought to be home taking care of your kids or working your job.
Let me remind you, it costs a lot of money to get
When
good
I
at
go
it.
broke, it's Joel's fault. Just saying.
So, yeah, it's,
You're gonna win at some point, you just keep it.
every,
Give us a chance. Not on this.
so, yeah, you can win every game. And the player, part of the winning is deciding whether to play or not. Because that's part of the skill. If it's a losing table and you don't want to play that, because you don't want to play follow me, because it's going to take 7 minutes, and you don't want your dog to bark and distract you in the middle of it, which is part of the element of skill. Then part of exercising the skill is choosing not to play that particular
Yeah.
puzzle and playing a different puzzle. So,
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
all right.
ready to move on, Shane?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
Really
you all
appreciate
very
you guys
much.
taking the time coming to Pampa.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Okay. I want to call on Teresa to lead the tax rate discussion.
Y'all ready for it? Okay. So we'll just start off on the first page. We'll talk a little bit about tax rates and truth in taxation, just the discussions of what we've kind of covered already in part of the budget process. This first slide, it's basically talking about how our, sorry, I need to change it. On our ad valorem tax, this is for property taxes based on the assessed certified values of our property taxes. So when we go through this process, it's a long 81-step process that our tax assessor over at the county has to complete in order for us to get our rates. There is legislation that we have to follow in order to get these rates, and you can find instructions and guidance and things on the comptroller's website. But through this process, it's a little backwards than what you guys typically would do in your home budgets. When you're looking at municipalities and looking at the taxations on this, you're basically creating and proposing your budget first, and then you go in and you set your taxes based on the budget that is needed in order to provide the services that you have to have for your city. Normally, this is it's a little easier to do, but it's not realistic on how things work. Typically, we'll do the budget and then we discuss our tax rates within it. About 4 years ago, they changed the limitations on what you could do as far as your tax rate increase. And so we went from an 8% increase to a 3.5% cap. So it limits, going through and trying to do your budget with your tax rate. So that's just an overall recap of the taxes. On this third page here, this is just some basic guidelines through our Texas Municipal League. They give us guidance every year, letting us know, depending on which type of tax you're looking at, whether you're going to go over the VAR and require elections, or if you're going to stay within or below the VAR. Our city has determined that we would like to stay, that not to exceed the VAR, which is the voter approval rate. So the dates that you see here is the guidelines that TML has set forth for us that we have to complete this process by.
You may see the little discrepancy there, like August 29th deadline to file proposed budget, where we're going to do that by Wednesday. That comes from our charter requiring us to have 2 readings on ordinances, which a lot of cities don't have, so they can do it a lot faster. So that backs up our deadline somewhat.
Yes, so these dates here, these are just dates that, let me see, my screen just went off. This just shows basically the deadlines that the comptroller has set for us, for that, for all other cities. Okay, here is a basic description of the no new revenue rate, the tax rate. The no new revenue tax rate, this is basically what we go through and look and see when we're comparing last year's appraised values compared to this year's appraised values. And so you have to get the current year's appraised values, take out any new improvements, any new additions, any appeals, things of that sort, to where you can compare apples to apples, and then it gives you a rate based on the same revenue that you would receive from prior year. This is that 81-step process. So it's not as simple as it sounds, getting it back to the apples and apples, but you can always look at that process, and we can go through it and see what you need. But again, the no new revenue rate is to basically take your certified values for the current year minus any changes from the prior year to get you back to the same amount of revenue that you received last year.
Remember, the 65 and older freeze plays big into that.
Yes. And so as your property taxes increase, your no new revenue rate is going to decrease. Here is the voter approval rate along with the unused increment. So when you're looking at these rates here, the voter approval rate is basically 3.5% over your no new revenue rate. And then you can see the little pennies off to the side. For every year that your tax rate, whatever tax rate you set, even if we go to the VAR that we are recommending, or that we have put in the budget, it is going to show that there is an increase in taxes because it's based on the no new revenue. So our current tax rate is 0.733451. If we do this proposed voter approval unused at 0.703304, it's still going to show that there was an increase in tax rate, even though our actual tax rate is going down, because it's compared to the no new revenue rate. And that's kind of a bit of confusion to a lot of the citizens. And you'll get that question. It'll also have percentages of what that may be. And so it looks to them that it's going to be an increase. And so just keep that in mind when you have people call or question. And we can give you guys a breakdown of those numbers as well when it comes time to it. Okay. Here is just a quick cheat sheet that you guys might keep handy whenever you're looking at this and you're kind of reviewing the information if you have citizens ask. If we are below the voter approval tax rate, which is the no new revenue rate, and below the 0.703304, there's no election required. If we go above the voter approval tax rate or the de minimis rate, then an automatic election is required. And that's saying that if you go above the de minimis rate. Now, if you go above the voter approval tax rate, but below the de minimis rate, which is that 0.745371, the voters may petition for an election. And so the de minimis is for cities that are 30,000 in population or less, and it's supposed to give you an additional $500,000 in revenue. And so that's where the de minimis comes in to play. This is the slide that you guys really want to look at, because this is for our city. This is showing that our certified net taxable values came in at $875,275,090. When you look at the taxable value of frozen senior property, that's that 161 million that Shane was talking about there. So we have to take that frozen property out of our calculation for certified value. And then we go in and we've proposed the tax rate of the voter approval with the unused increment of the 0.703304, which is going to give us an estimated collection of $5,775,000 with that. We also have to take in our tax increment zone that is downtown here. This value did decrease slightly, and so our amount that we will have to pull out of the ad valorem taxes is this $18,519. This money will be set aside to be only used within the tax increment financing zone. So basically, there's a committee that goes through this, and once these funds grow, they will allow. They will vote on what these funds will fund within projects and things of that sort. So basically, our estimated net ad valorem tax for general fund M&O, our library, and the debt service is going to be $5,756,490, which is that very bottom number. Over to the right, you can see there that's the distribution of what the tax is going to be. Our M&O rate is that general fund, the 0.467435. Our library fund is 3 cents, and then our interest and redemption, that is our debt at 0.205869. And so you can see the breakdown of what we will receive for each of those.
Real quickly, she said that the value in the downtown TERS decreased, she meant increased. And so that increment is what will go into that fund.
Mm-hmm. On this next one, this is the breakdown of the senior tax freeze. So taxes lost to this freeze is $322,503. This was something that, each city votes on, and our city voted on several, I don't even know how long ago, but a long time ago.
20 years ago.
20 years ago. And so there is a cap for our seniors over 65 on their taxes. With that being said, the resulting tax rate on frozen property is 0.504 compared to the 0.703304 that it would have been or could have been in the proposed budget. Then you will also see here that we are subsidizing the frozen property by 0.03685. You can also see on the very bottom portion of that the home valuations and what it would cost each homeowner depending on the property tax rate that we selected or voted on. The $128,550 that is highlighted in gray, that is the average home value for the city of Pampa. That slightly increased, not much, but it did increase a little.
It's doubled in about 5 years.
Mm-hmm. On this next slide, you can see just the historical tax rate. Just looking at the M&O rate, you can see from the current year, the 24-25 year, our M&O is 0.5044. Based on the no new revenue rate and the M&O and the voter approval, this is going to drop at 4 cents for collections for our general fund.
I'd note right there that once you propose a tax rate and then you finish out your process, you can come down from that tax rate. You just can't go up. And historically, cities would set their proposed tax rate at the voter approval rate, especially back when it was 8%, and then they would finish their process and come down to what they really needed. That sometimes creates panic from the citizens because they see that proposed tax rate and it's all the way up there at the VAR and they think that's the rate. So Pampa's kind of done it both ways through the years, but it's kind of a moot point now with the compressed window. It really is what it is. VAR is what we will probably set at, and then if we chose to, when you set the final tax rate, you could come down from that, but you can't go over it.
This next slide is just basically to show you some different trends that we've seen over the past 10 years. Earlier we talked about the 65% increase, that is actually in the homestead change, the home valuation on that. You can see there where in 2023, average home value was $72,800 and it jumped to $120,856. So for the current year, the home values increased about 6.4% for the average home. More importantly, you can see here that the valuations overall for certified taxable value increased 6.3%, meaning that our budgeted property tax revenue is going to be $3,825,920. Our current budget year is $3,890,000. So we are going to decrease our revenues by 1.7%. And that's because the valuations increased more than our M&O increased. You can see on this one, this is basically just all of the general fund debt that is supported through the property tax. Our current year, 2026 fiscal year end is $1.5 million, and that's how much we will have to pay from the property taxes into our debt services for that. Okay, and the last bit of this, today we're at our meeting for our tax rate discussion. Wednesday, we will file the proposed budget with Barbara, and then it will be posted in the newspaper on Saturday. And we will get it onto the website, things of that sort. So we are getting there. Yes. Any questions?
Good job.
Okay.
Questions, anybody? Thank you, Teresa. Appreciate it. Let's move on to agenda items. Agenda item number 1 is to consider approving the minutes of the August 4th, 2025 work session and special commission meeting. Entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve the minutes of the August 4th, 2025 work session and special commission meeting as presented.
I second.
Got a motion and second. Any corrections to the minutes? Any changes? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Minutes are approved. Agenda item number 2. The agenda item is consider adopting on second and final reading resolution number R25-023, approving a project with the Pampa Economic Development Corporation to provide funding to the city of Pampa for the purchase of heavy equipment. The official resolution reads as follows. A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Pampa, Texas, approving a project of the Pampa Economic Development Corporation, providing a severability clause, a savings clause, and an effective date.
I make a motion to adopt on the second and final reading, resolution number R25-023 as presented.
I will second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Brian Bradley, you want to add anything?
Nothing further to add unless I have any questions.
Okay.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, and thank you for helping us. Appreciate it. So we got a motion second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Very good. Agenda item number 3. Consider approving on first reading ordinance 1821, amending the zoning map of the city of Pampa. The ordinance reads as follows. An ordinance amending ordinance number 960 of the city of Pampa, Texas, and amending the zoning map of the city of Pampa as set out in Article 1402.001, Exhibit 14A, Section 3 of the Code of Ordinances by changing from SF-2, one-family dwelling district, to SF-3, one-family dwelling, 3 mobile home permitted, providing an effective date, providing a savings clause, and providing for publication.
I'll make a motion to approve on first reading ordinance number 1821 is presented.
I will second.
We got a motion, a second, discussion on this. Luke, anything you want to add? Okay. Anything? Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Agenda item number 4, the city commission will convene into closed session, executive session at 5:17 in accordance with the Texas Local Government Code 551.071. Consultation with attorney to discuss contemplated or pending litigation. Thank everyone for staying. Executive session was concluded. We didn't take any formal action, so this meeting is adjourned.